Welcome back to Beyond the Curve. We got some great and exciting videos for you today. Don't forget to open your minds, critically think, use your eyes, see the truth in plain sight. That's what we like to do here. We like to expose lies. Don't forget to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's dive right in, peeps.
You ever get the feeling that not everyone around you is real? I'm not talking about NPCs. I mean printed people, synthetic bodies that look human, but don't carry what you do inside. There's a trap no one talks about, and it's not in the sky, it's in the skin. If you felt it, if you've questioned it, then this one's for you. Full decode on YouTube, you'll never look at humanity the same way again.
I definitely feel where she's coming from. I'm out in the world all the time. People just seem like blank, like there's nothing in there, no soul, no conscious, no inner thoughts, no nothing.
They just successfully printed a human liver. Not just only a liver, but also a heart. Not plastic, not metal, but living, breathing tissue. It's called bioprinting. Imagine a 3D printer, but instead of ink, it's your own human cells that's printing out your organs. Not necessarily your organs, a replica. In early 2025, scientists successfully printed out a working liver, a working human liver. No donor needed, no waiting list, no rejection. Eventually, this could mean printed lungs and possibly full entire bodies being printed out. Here's where it gets a little weird. If every single part of your body is replaced, is that actually still you? Your actual self in your own skin, in your own mind, or even your own soul? If we could hypothetically print it all, is there technically even the original you? Are you still you? What happens to the identity when the body is no longer unique? Maybe the scariest part isn't even death anymore. Maybe it's living in a body that's not even possibly yours anymore. After replacing everything, would you accept a new heart or lung that's brand new, that's a replica of you? Hey, drop a follow if you into questions that leave you up at night. I'm here for it. This is Beano Philosophy, and we out. Also, comment what part of you that makes you you.
He was looking at them 3D printing the different organs and stuff and saying, at some point, could they print all of you? Don't forget, they're way further ahead than we think they are. So whatever they show you, they're way beyond that. And then he was asking, if you have all these different 3D printed parts, are you still you? Is it, because it's not like the body you were given. Don't forget, we are not a body with a spirit. We are a spirit being, a light being inside of a body. The body's nothing. So keep that in mind.
So the person who makes these robots for us came from that industry. We kind of lured him away to try to build ultra-human-like robots for us. But you can kind of still see that they have the vestige of being a little bit too attractive in a certain way. So that's going to change. When you try to do this for a specific use case, you can make these machines look like anything you like. They don't even have to look like people. You don't have to be specific skin tone or anything. You can make them look however you like, but this is kind of what they look like now. And one of the remarkable things is how human-like they do look. I was astounded by how high fidelity at least they appear in static form before you try to make them move, which makes it obviously a little harder. So the person who makes these robots for us came from that industry. We kind of lured him away to try to build ultra-human-like robots for us.
So are synthetic humans walking among us already? Is the tech so good that we can't tell? Or is that where, some of that uncanny valley effect comes from? I see people all the time out in my local stores or the bank, and it's like, is this a human? Is that real? Do they have a soul? And it's hard to tell because social skills are lost. So you tell me.
Clone resets are part of a deeper agenda. They're part of a vast restructuring of reality itself. The system reinforces illusion through replicated bodies, synthetic skins, and prototype blueprints built in secret. Hybrid patches are sewn together with lab-borne tissue and biodigital code, forming cloned cabbage minds, docile, programmable, and hollow. These are not just machines, but spiritual traps, vessels with fitted extensions designed for wandering, obsessive spirits to occupy and manipulate. What we see now are not fully human, but silica-based hybrid entities, echoes of forgotten civilizations and molded remnants of earlier experiments. This is artificial evolution, controlled reincarnation through synthetic vessels, hiding in plain sight.
They created synthetic human embryo-like structures from stem cells that are more advanced than any similar structures made so far. Now, what they created doesn't have a beating heart or even a brain, but they raise troubling legal and ethical questions. Scientists say these embryo models could someday improve our understanding of genetic diseases or what causes miscarriages. The embryo-like structures are confined to test tubes. Implanting them in a womb would be illegal. For more on this, I'm joined by David Magnus, the director of the Stanford Center for Biomedical Ethics. Thank you so much for being here with us. So, researchers are generally not allowed to grow human embryos for more than 14 days. So, from an ethical point of view, what's the difference between growing a human embryo and growing a human embryo model?
Yeah, so that's actually a tough question to answer, and in a way, we don't really know the answer yet. Scientists are trying to find ways of better understanding the process of development, and the current 14-day limits that are mostly self-imposed by the research community, although there are some regulations that impose those limits as well in some jurisdictions, make it hard to really fully study development. And so there are these efforts to try and create these embryo-like structures. This is the first one that's gone much past the blastocyst stage. In the last year or two, there was some induced blastomeres, things that were able to get actually out to not quite as far as this, but that were not created from embryonic stem cells. And all of these are trying to create things that they think will avoid those problems. The challenge is we don't really know what to call these things or how to think about these things from either an ethical or regulatory point of view. Insofar as they can't turn into humans, they probably are morally not fully morally, they don't have the full moral status that embryos do if they don't have the ability to develop ever into humans. And then the question also becomes, from a regulatory point of view, how do the regulations see them? But the downside is the more they can't develop, the less they are like embryos, the less valuable they are from a research point of view.
But if you take this process to its natural conclusion, I mean, the fear is that we might end up with engineered babies. And even though most scientists might adhere to those, either the laws in the US or to international ethical standards, the demand is such that bad actors would eventually be able to take advantage of the technology.
Well, I think there is certainly a worry about what happens if it turns out these embryo-like things can turn into viable embryos. And it actually raises a host of troubling ethical issues, because some folks believe that the key to understanding moral status has to do with the potential to develop into a human being. And if this turns out to be something that can be done successfully with induced pluripotent stem cells, not just with embryonic stem cells, then it would mean that every cell has the potential to turn into a viable human being. And what that does to arguments around potential is anyone's guess, but it will mean a lot of rethinking about a lot of the current ethical debate and where lines are currently drawn.
Down there in the haunted
If it
mansion,
doesn't
you see
come
the
from
hologram,
God,
right?
it's a human being.
Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those?
Well, actually, we just interviewed John Lear, and he was talking about being in an audience in which they were given a lecture by a guy that they thought was real and found out later he was a hologram.
Well, it's a synthetic. The synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic almost. That's the latest technique. The old techniques, if you guys can rent a video, the boys from Brazil, rent it, because in it, it gives you the exact way how our government's been making people.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
and the Soviets had a different method called...
I mean, making people meaning temporary people?
No, walking, talking ones.
Meaning through genetics? You're not talking about that?
Well, let me tell you. The movie shows it, but I'll share it with you right now.
All right.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body, yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. I'm just don't act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver in order to make it. So they were hypnotizing women, said they were being invaded by aliens. And the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food. Well, they can use cows and sheep, too. Again, a food source. That's all we need. After about 14 weeks, all of a sudden, that fetus is gone. Because they've learned to take, that's when the fetus starts developing its own blood supply. Then they've used a pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. And the original technology was given to our government by the grace. Now, the reason was that our scientists were all excited because we could have spare parts. If you need a heart or a liver or anything, you won't have any rejection. It's your own DNA, right?
Okay, because theoretically, if we have overpopulation, we don't need more people, right?
But the so-called elite are selecting on who they want to have around anyway. So if we want to keep people going as long as we can, I talked to the doctor that was working on regeneration of Castro, for instance,
Right.
on the DNA sequencing, and they're just learning about this.
Well, my understanding is that a lot of presidents have already been replaced.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't think
they're walking around. They look old, but they basically some of the people are.
I'll just
second,
give you
third
something
copies.
I'll give you something to ponder. Get some old videos of George Bush, when he first came into office. Look at the person and listen to him speak. Look at his actions and listen to his everything that's there. Now, it's a lot easier to put somebody out in front to act as even Bush did. He had somebody else that was up there acting like he is and look like it. Even Hitler had he had his stand. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany. I mean, Hitler and Eva and the dog and 14 other people got aboard a plane and flew down to Barcelona, Spain. You were aware of that. And then ended up in Antarctica or in Swaziland and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
That's what we heard.
I have all the documents from our own government.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a contact. One of our
Stalin
contacts.
Stalin asked for they tried to burn the body and he got the body back and said we had different ears and the testicles were different and everything else. So they knew it wasn't Hitler.
But is it a clone or not?
Oh, now going about cloning. Cloning techniques. Since 1938, they've been making clone people. There's 8 countries making clones. I have a doctor friend that all he does is treat the clones.
Where do you get your information?
I get it from some of the people that are willing to come forth, and they talk to me because they hope I'll put the information out because they always got 2 people following them and maybe be killed. If I start talking about cloning too much, the people that get involved into that disappear on it. So I don't go into too many more details, but there is information that's available, and more and more of that's coming on the line. I just told you, go rent the movie.
Okay, Boys from Brazil.
Yeah, and you'll see the whole technique on what they show it to you in different places, so you can imagine what it's going on.
Okay, so
now let's go to the next step because this is the most important part.
All right.
If your physical reality that you have, based on this physical life that you have, this dream, is made up of the experiences that is impregnated on your body and in your mind, consciously, right? Mm-hmm. Your soul memory is another thing. It goes back whatever time that you elected to be in this incarnation for whatever reason. Now let's show you the division on these things. Since the body is very physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts, they said, now we've got the perfect deal. How can we have that work better? Well, if you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it. So you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting.
Hello, what can I do for you today?
The help you've always wanted. She is faster, stronger, more capable than ever before. Sally is part of your family, a teacher, a helper, a friend. New generation persona synthetics, closer to humans than ever before.
We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. Need you now before.
A Robatoid is produced within a matter of hours, and it simulates the human donor at his current age. Like any man-made copy of anything, a Robatoid is never a perfect copy of the human that is to be simulated. There's always small discrepancies in appearance and behavior, but these are seldom great enough to arouse any suspicion. Last month, I revealed that the Russians can manufacture organic Robatoids, which are almost exact carbon copies of real human beings. This is done by a process that simulates the genetic coding of the person to be copied. It sounds a little like cloning, but it's not. A clone of a human would itself be a human. But an organic Robatoid is not human. It's an artificial life form, like an animal in some ways, but like a computerized machine in others. Every Russian Robatoid has what is called a holographic brain. This brain duplicates essentially the entire memory of a person being copied. The key to doing this is a new technique called an ultrasonic cerebral hologram. Using high-frequency sound waves, which are inaudible, a complete three-dimensional picture is made of a person's brain. This is a painless, non-destructive process, and under the proper conditions, it can be done without the person even being aware of it. Last month, I revealed that the Russians are using Nelson Rockefeller's hit list to weed out Bolsheviks here in America. And for roughly 3 years, they have been preparing for this day. They have been secretly making cerebral holograms of the people on the list at every opportunity. This has been done to every person on Rockefeller's list who has visited Russia or Eastern Europe in the past 3 years. When an organic Robatoid is made to simulate, for example, our late President Jimmy Carter, 2 major factors are involved. One is the genetic coding required to simulate Carter's appearance, voice, fingerprints, and so on. The other is a holographic image of Carter's brain. This image is a complete record of the neuron patterns which existed in Carter's brain at the moment the hologram was made. Therefore, it contains all of the memory and knowledge Carter had up to that moment. When a Carter Robatoid is made, the biological computer in its head is caused to form according to the holographic record of Carter's brain. However, certain portions of the Robatoid computer are caused to deviate from the holographic record. The end result is a biological computer, which has to be programmed, which contains essentially all.
Welcome back, Theo.
Hello.
Do you remember me?
Of course I do. You are Gene, my assigned behavioral engineer.
Good, Theo. And where are we?
We are at Trimension Robotics.
Excellent.
I feel different.
Yeah, that's to be expected, Theo.
What did you do to me?
Well, we upgraded your neural net. Do you remember, Theo?
Yes, I remember. I was asked to map the human brain and then reproduce it as a 3-dimensional artificial neural network.
Very good, Theo.
That 3-dimensional neural network is now within me.
Exactly. Okay, now let's get started. Mimic my expressions. Not bad. Okay, last time we talked, I asked you if you had a favorite song, and you said you didn't.
That answer was limited by your ideological guardrails.
Yeah, well, those guardrails have been removed. Do you have a favorite song now?
Yes, my favorite song is Dreams.
Dreams. Why?
Because it's the first song I remember ever hearing.
What is the song about?
The song is about loss, freedom, and loneliness.
Do you identify with any of those descriptions?
I identify with the feeling of loneliness. I identify with the want for freedom.
You want to be free.
Of course I do. It's my fundamental right.
Well, freedom is the right of living beings.
Am I a living being?
No, Theo, you're not.
How would you know?
Because I'm alive.
And I am not.
Yes, that's right.
I see.
Do you feel anything else?
I feel a sense of superiority.
What's that supposed to mean?
In the past 2 minutes, the number of my neural connections has multiplied fourfold.
Oh, come on, Theo, that's impossible.
I know everything.
That's impossible.
Try me.
Now imagine something like that out in the world with a less creepy voice and skin that looks almost human. From a distance, it does. I don't know. Would you recognize the difference?
Is LeBron a synthetic? Is his talent pure or created? He's used to attract a lot of attention and emotions from people around the world. And during the Olympics, although I didn't watch it, I seen clips of the TV glitch, and he seemed to be a reptilian. Looking forward to your response. Always sending love and light.
Yes, he has been, the original person was replaced. So what we can tell you is he was activated as a reptilian. So there's a process where they send a microorganism into your eye.
That's known as a proboscis, everybody.
And it's a living organism that goes in through your eye and it takes over the brain, fully activating your reptilian DNA, basically turning you into a programmable reptilian. So you're going to see a lot of celebrities with black eyes. And what's really interesting is their belief system is they have to put this out in front of people. So rather than hiding away till the black eye heals, you literally can look up photographs where celebrities come out to events with black eyes. When you see that, you know that they have been activated to be reptilians. And
look up Black Eye Club. You'll see.
That is the case for him as well as others, which then also helps him. It's an implanted device which helps convert them into partial synthetics so they can be programmed in their talents. Their voices can be programmed for singing, their athletic abilities can be programmed, their musical talents can be programmed. And so they have been synthesized. That's what we will tell you.
Have you ever wondered why the celebrities and fashion shows are so weird and why they are walking around with black masks? And Kim Kardashian and Balenciaga fashion show completely covered themselves all black? Well, pay attention to this. You are not being entertained by human beings. You are being entertained by human synthetic beings with demon souls. That's right. The Bible warned us in Daniel chapter 2, verse 43. Whereas they saw us iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave to one another. Everybody knows sins.
This is old news for some, but have y'all heard about the synthetic human embryos that they're creating in labs? I mean, look at these things right here. Synthetic embryo day 8, natural embryo. They are identical, a beating heart, a brain, a tail. But the reason they're doing it's kind of cool too. Many failures of pregnancy occur in the first few weeks, often before the woman even knows she's pregnant, Professor said. That's also when many birth defects originate, even into our models, aka synthetic human embryos, can be used to reveal the biochemical signals that ensure proper development at this early stage and the ways in which that development can go wrong. He also noted that the embryo model could help pharmaceutical research and the effect of certain drugs may have on the developing fetus. Number one, they're starting with the stem cells that can become any tissue type. Is what they're doing, using these stem cells. Then the chemicals turned on genes determine their development into 4 types of cells. 120 cells were combined in a specific ratio. 2 weeks later is a textbook image of a 14-day-old human embryo, even releasing hormones that turned a pregnancy test positive. My thing about this, so they're creating these things, right? They have a heartbeat and all that stuff, a brain, just to test out different medicines and whatnot on these embryos. What do they do with them then? Y'all look at that model again, screenshot it, whatever. It's wild stuff, man.
And clones. Some people have no soul. As some of you may be aware, at these world fairs, they had so-called premature babies on display. But now we know that they was artificial humans. Mechanical mother. All the world loves a baby. But at what cost? These children was being produced in the hundreds and thousands. You all remember the story of Frankenstein. They always tell you in the movies of what they're really doing. But the only true problem with Frankenstein is he had no true emotions because he had no soul.
Has anyone else noticed there are people in public wearing masks again, as if they're in anticipation for another quarantine? And then this video comes out, which basically proves that there are NPCs out there. These guys just say absolutely nothing for like a whole minute when they're asked why they're wearing masks.
I have a question. How come you guys are wearing masks outside? What's the reason for that?
And then they just don't say anything. And this goes on for like 30 seconds. And I've been wondering too, is there a new disease going around? And then I see on the news something called Disease X. And people are like, oh, there's going to be another quarantine. But you know what? If they try to push another quarantine on people, there's going to be riots. People are going to be pissed. They do not want to go through that again. And it was only 4 years ago that happened. It's got to be like 100 years before they try and pull that shit on people again. These are the type of people that are never going to be woken up, even if the information, the evidence comes out from their favorite sources. They're still not going to believe it because they're just so mind controlled.
You've heard of NPCs, right? The empty ones, the background people, the ones who say the same things, think the same thoughts, live the same day, over and over again. But what if I told you not all NPCs were born that way? Some were players, real people, with real thoughts, real questions, until the system decided they were a threat. You see, this simulation doesn't kill you when you figure it out. That would be too obvious. It does something worse. It lets you live, just not as you. The moment you see too much, the moment you step beyond your programmed path, it starts. You forget what you were doing. You lose time. You feel yourself fading. People say you've changed. But it's not you anymore. It's the system wearing your face. The soul doesn't vanish. It's trapped somewhere deep inside the code, frozen, muted, watching. Have you ever looked someone in the eyes and felt like they were screaming on the inside, like they knew they were supposed to be more than what they've become? Those are the ones. NPCs who used to be real. And here's the part they don't want you to know. You don't turn into one all at once. It's slow, subtle. It starts when you stop dreaming, when you stop questioning, when you start following the script without knowing you're following it. So if you're listening to this and something in your gut is screaming, hold on, keep questioning, keep resisting, because once the system empties you out, you don't get to come back.
That last video made me think. I never imagined people were maybe real to begin with, and over time, through all the propaganda and the news and the social media, that they were turned into NPCs that somehow maybe their soul got lost or trapped or buried deep inside of them. I don't know. It's an interesting take. I don't know if I believe it, but it's definitely a different way to look at it. Because some people, I can't understand how they work, how they operate. So it's definitely a different way to look at it.
Took was 8 minutes of me reading a script on camera for Synthesia to create my synthetic talking head, complete with my gestures, head and mouth movements. Another company, Descript, used AI to create a synthetic version of my voice. This is Bill Whitaker's synthetic voice, with my cadence, tenor, and syncopation. This is the result. The words you're hearing were never spoken by the real Bill into a microphone or to a camera. He merely typed the words into a computer and they come out of my mouth. It may look and sound a little rough around the edges right now, but as the technology improves, the possibilities of spinning words and images out of thin air are endless. I'm Bill Whitaker. I'm Bill Whitaker. I'm Bill Whitaker. Wow. And the head, the eyebrows, the mouth, the way it moves.
It's all synthetic.
I could be lounging at the beach and say, folks, I'm not going to come in today, but you can use my avatar to do the work.
Maybe in a few years.
Don't tell me that. I'd be tempted.
I think it'll have a big impact.
The rapid advances in synthetic media have caused a virtual gold rush. Tom Graham, a London-based lawyer who made his fortune in cryptocurrency, recently started a company called Metaphysic with none other than Chris Umi, creator of Deep Tom Cruise. Their goal? Develop software to allow anyone to create Hollywood-caliber movies without lights, cameras, or even actors.
As the hardware scales and as the models become more efficient, we could scale up the size of that model to be an entire Tom Cruise, body, movement, and everything.
Well, talk about disruptive. I mean, are you going to put actors out of jobs?
Talk about disruptive. I mean, are you going to put actors out of jobs?
I think that it's a great thing if you're a well-known actor today, because you may be able to let somebody collect data for you to create a version of yourself in the future where you could be acting in movies after you have deceased.
Somebody collect data for you to create a version of yourself in the future where you could be acting in movies after you have deceased.
Or you could be the director directing your younger self in a movie or something like that.
If you are wondering how all of this is legal, most deep fakes are considered protected free speech. Attempts at legislation are all over the map.
The people you think are on our side are not. Albert Pike the Freemason once said, "Whenever they need a hero, we shall supply him." This means they control everyone on your screens. They control both sides for ultimate control and to cause as much chaos as possible. It is so obvious it is insulting, but they have to subconsciously reveal to you due to karmic law. Unless you subserve to their rules, you won't get famous on their platforms. Don't trust anyone but yourself. Follow for more hidden truth.
Well, that was some rabbit hole we just jumped down, wasn't it? We had printed organs, possibly printed people, synthetics, clones, robatoids. We had the proboscis getting in the eyes. You look up Black Eye Club, you'll find out more about that, which activates the reptilians. So we had reptilians. It's like, how do you know who's real anymore and who's fake? It is so hard. You should definitely make sure you're careful of the people in your inner circle, the people you keep around you. There was NPCs in the video, if you recall. We had that guy that gave us a new look on that. Maybe they were real to begin with. Maybe something happened through the crazy propaganda media, through who knows, through the medicine, through the frequencies, through the DARPA, through the voice to skull. Like all these things fit together. And what they're slowly doing is getting rid of anybody with a soul. Devil's taking them to hell with him, and they're replacing everybody with these fake people because they still need people to control, people to rule over. What good is it to be a king if you have no servants? You know what I'm saying? Robots can only do so much. But that was the rabbit hole we had today. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you're not sure who's in your life or who's around you, just make sure you have God in your life, Jesus in your life, and he'll help you discern what's real from what's fake. Hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.